I'd like a larger space to stand in, rather.
What if someone gave you a palace to stand in, but they filled it up with gas, CO2 gas, and you still burn from the inside out?
I'd like to choose how I die.
This is a gas chamber.
Ah.
So at 6 months old, these pigs get lowered into CO2 gas chambers and they burn from the inside out. They scream for their lives.
Is that because the farmer doesn't have the capacity to keep for all the pigs, or?
This is the meat industry.
Right.
So at 6 months old is the age where they would go to be slaughtered in an abattoir. And this is how they do it. They gas the majority of pigs in the UK.
So, what would you say is a more humane way of doing this?
What would you say is?
I'm not sure.
I would say there is no humane way to kill
So-
someone who doesn't want to die. What would you think?
That's a very tricky question.
I find
I think that some people take a gun to the head because apparently it goes straight to the brain, but I'm not sure whether it's...
Yeah, so like a stun gun. But what about, say, if you were in their position, what would be the most humane way to kill you? Is there a humane way to kill you? Whether it's gas
Painlessly.
chamber. What about if you want to live?
Well, they won't understand whether I want to live or not.
Exactly. So say if we did that, what we do to animals, to humans, we would call that murder, right? Yeah. So the easiest way to find out if it's humane is if you'd want it done to you. So I wouldn't want to be put in a gas chamber. I wouldn't want a bolt gun to my head and have my throat cut. What do you think is the better option, to do this to them or to leave them alone and let them be, let them live their life?
But where would we leave them to live their life? That's the problem.
First of all, what would you prefer, to let them live or not? And then I'll answer the other question.
Well, they've no choice in the matter.
But what do you think they would prefer though, if they did have a
Pigs
choice?
would prefer.
Yeah, to live or not live.
Probably live, I presume.
Yeah, 100%. So you said, where would the animals go if they weren't here?
Where would they go? Into
So-
the woodlands?
So basically this all happens because people, the public, pay for animal products,
Yes.
like milk, eggs, dairy,
Pork.
fish. Yeah, exactly. So when people stop paying for it, they're going to stop forcing these animals into existence. Because like you said
They're
earlier,
still going to have to kill them because of the lack of supply and demand. There's
Well,
too
over-
much supply, but there's not enough demand, so the price of the pork would then drop drastically.
so let me explain. They're forcibly breeding these animals into existence, so
Yeah.
they're raping them to create more animals to keep up with the demand. When the demand starts to slow down, they'll stop forcibly breeding these animals into existence. And then when the world or animals have rights, there'll be so many sanctuaries, we'll put the rest that are left into sanctuaries and there'll be people looking after them. Do you pay for bacon or sausages or meat, eggs, dairy?
Overdue ones, yes.
Pardon?
Overdue ones.
What does overdue ones mean?
Ones that aren't sold.
Ones that aren't sold?
Yeah.
So where do you buy
So-
animal products?
You know when things are off their best by date
Yeah,
and then they get reduced,
yeah.
that sort of thing.
Oh right, so like out of date ones. So
Yeah.
you're still paying into the industry though, because it's all about supply and demand. The
Yeah,
whole
but they don't
time,
make much profit then, do they?
it's regardless. Even a penny into the industry still supports them. So is this an industry that you would want to support or boycott?
Depends on how much money I have.
Depends on money.
Yeah.
What about if you were the victim? Would you want someone to pay for you to go into a gas chamber or not? Regardless of money.
Well, I'd like to know the reason why I'm being gassed, first of all.
For your flesh, someone to eat your flesh.
But they don't know that, do they?
It doesn't matter.
It doesn't matter. It's their thoughts. It's their lives.
Doesn't matter. Yeah, it's their lives.
Yeah.
So we shouldn't have the right to take their life away from them, should we? For a sandwich. Like we shouldn't have a right to take your life away from you if we want to eat your flesh, regardless if you know or not. Would you agree?
There's not much demand for human meat, though, is there?
Regardless. About having empathy, putting yourself in their position. I wouldn't want someone to kill me and take my flesh because that's my body. I should have the right to my own body, right? Just like they should have the right to their own body. So again, is this something that you want to put your money into? Say, keep going, I want this to happen? Or is this something you say, no, I don't want this to happen?
I'd rather be able to have my next meal, rather.
So you'd rather them be killed for you?
I'd rather stay alive.
You can stay alive without harming animals, do you know that?
More expensive.
No, it's not. 30% cheaper. But it's regardless of that. Do you think paying an extra £2 for vegan sausage, which isn't, it's cheap, but do you think money's worth more than their life? You've got options, right? You can live plant-based. You can eat rice, legumes, lentils, all the abundance of plant-based foods, or you can pay into this. This is your choice that you have right now. You either pay for animals, baby animals, to have their heads cut off and be thrown into gas chambers, or you live a vegan lifestyle and you boycott these industries. Because these industries will not happen if people stop paying for it.
What's going to happen to the farmers then?
Doesn't matter what happens to the farmers, it's about the animals.
Not about the people either?
No, absolutely not, no. No, they can get new jobs, they can find alternative ways. There's charities, like vegan charities that help support farmers, like Viva Refarmed, where they can change their farming system. Instead of farming sentient beings who feel pain and suffer, they can farm plants or like apple, leather, mushroom and things like that. There's support for them. But it doesn't matter because they're not the victims. They're the victims. And they're in there at the moment if you're not vegan. They're in there for you. And they used to be in there for me as well. Before, I used to pay for that as well. Before I saw this. Because good people don't know this is happening. What's your emotion when you see these pigs suffering like this? What do you feel in your heart?
I'm curious as to why they trap them in cages.
What do you feel in your heart though, when you see them in there?
There's not enough space to stand on.
Does it make you happy, sad, uncomfortable?
Somewhat.
Somewhat uncomfortable?
Yeah.
Yeah. And why is that? Do you imagine if you were in their position, how you would feel?
I'd like a larger space to stand in, rather.
What if someone gave you a palace to stand in, but they filled it up with gas, CO2 gas, and you still burn from the inside out? What if we had the biggest room?
I prefer painless death.
Do you prefer painless death, or do you prefer no death at all?
But if I was going to die either way, a painless death.
What if you're not? Would you rather be murdered or not murdered?
I'd like to choose how I die.
Yeah, we'd all like to choose how we die, right? Like in our sleep,
You can't
old
really.
age, right? These are 6-month-old babies. They don't get a choice in anything because people are paying for them to go in these gas chambers. People are paying for male chicks in the egg industry to be blended up alive. Dairy cows in the dairy industry, mothers are being raped, have their babies taken from them, have their heads cut off.
You mean
For a
the
sandwich.
battery farms?
No, all standard practice, free range, RSPCA approved.
And because if they don't produce anything, then they're not very good as farm animals, are they?
Well, they shouldn't be farmed animals. We don't need to. Do you think we have to eat animals? And what comes out of them, like milk and dairy and eggs?
Well, we are omnivores, so
But do you think we have to eat them? Can we survive without harming them?
if we can get a supply of protein.
Yeah. Protein all comes from plants. All our nutrients all come from plants. The Academy of Nutrition and Dietetics state you can be healthy on a plant-based diet for all stages of life, including pregnancy, infancy, bodybuilders. So if you can be healthy without harming animals, do you think that's the most ethical thing to choose?
We're burning down rainforests, which includes the animals in the rainforest
Yes.
and all the other things that we
Yeah.
haven't discovered in rainforests to plant monoculture.
Yeah, but they feed soya, all the soyas to the animals. 6% goes to humans. So if we abolished animal agriculture, we'd free up 75% of the world's land. The rainforest would come back, it wouldn't be destroyed anymore. But regardless of that, do you think it's the most ethical thing to do is to not pay for animals to have their heads chopped off and to live vegan?
I'm not saying to live vegan,
Well, if you're not living vegan, do you know the consequence of that?
because vegetarian's better than vegan.
Nah, they still murder.
Because
Vegetarians murder.
vegan is absolutely no animal involvement whatsoever,
Yeah.
which includes most fruit and vegetables.
No.
Because
no.
fruit is
Animal-derived
pollination by
products.
bees, for instance. You can't do that because there's bees in it.
Animal-derived products. So we avoid animal
So
exploitation.
vegetarian.
No, vegan. Vegetarians murder. In the dairy industry, they rape the mothers, they kidnap the babies, and they cut the babies' heads off so the humans can drink milk. The milk that was intended for the baby. We shouldn't be stealing the milk from someone else's mother, right? killing their babies to take her breast milk for us. It was the dairy industry that turned me vegan. A lot of vegetarians think that they can be vegetarian and not pay into these industries, but they've been lied to.
Because of the beef and the milk from it?
Sorry?
Because of the cows?
Yeah, they've been lied to. So on TV, you never see a mother cow being raped. You never see a baby being taken and have the head cut off. In the egg industry, you don't see male chicks being blended up alive. There's a reason they don't show you this though, isn't there?
Because it's not for children to watch.
Well, most people are against animal abuse, would you say?
Yeah.
Yeah, but they're paying for it. How can you get people who are against animal abuse to pay for something? By lying to them, telling
By
them.
not showing them?
Yeah, yeah. I paid for it for years, and I'm absolutely heartbroken that I did that.
So what you're suggesting is that farmers should abolish animal products entirely?
Yeah, yeah, you got it.
Right.
You can check out this documentary on Amazon Prime.
pignorantfilm.com.
Yeah.
Amazon Prime, do you have to pay for it?
No, it's free to watch on Amazon Prime. I'll give you that. One of the activists actually that showed me the footage, turned me vegan. He went inside the gas chamber, put cameras in there, and it's about the mission of him putting the cameras inside these gas chambers,
Right.
and exposing it. Because before today, did you know about gas chambers in the UK?
No.
Yeah, so check out that documentary, learn more, because the whole time you're not living a plant-based lifestyle, not vegan, you're paying into these industries where animals will be killed, have their heads cut off for something that we don't need. Yeah, I appreciate you speaking to me and appreciate your time today. But yeah, definitely spend some time looking at a documentary. Thank you, have a good day.